Hi guys. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Wow, so many people already.
Nice, 48.
Nice. 48, wow. Yeah, we will wait for a few more minutes until some more people joined, and then we will get started with our travel talk. You can share where you are actually currently at in the chat. Usually it's fun to see. Usually we do have a lot of people from all around the world. California, nice. Copenhagen. Yeah, more people are coming. Amsterdam, also nice.
San Diego.
San Diego. Oh, Lisbon, one of my favorite cities. Nice. Can't hear, that's bad. Can everyone hear us? I hope so. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Mexico. Okay. Oh, I love Mexico. Nice. Cool. Great. Yeah, let's just wait until like 38 maybe.
Trinidad. Wow. I think that's the first time.
Yeah, that's the first time. Congratulations, Leslie. First time we have someone from Trinidad. Nice. Berlin, Montreal. All over the place again. Nice. Cool. I think I'm the only one from Lebanon, probably.
Probably.
Nice. Okay, a few more people in the waiting room. But I think slowly we can just get started, and then if more people join, they have to live with missing the beginning, I would say. Okay, cool, perfect. All right, so yeah, hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in tonight. We're really happy that the topic of how to become a digital nomad and yeah, you can move your home office to the sun attracted so many of you. And yeah, tonight we're going to be taking you through all the information you need to learn on how to take the perfect remote working trip and to find, of course, the perfect co-working partners to join along. My name is Anna. You might have seen me somewhere on the website, in any newsletter, on our social media, or in one of our travel talks. I'm responsible right now for the partnership management at JoinMyTrip. And with me today is my beloved co-host, Stella.
Hi everyone, I'm Stella. I've been with JoinMyTrip over 1.5 years now, and I'm responsible for our emails and ensuring a fantastic customer experience for you. And I'm super excited to be co-hosting this event once again with Anna.
Yeah, so am I. I think we've done already feel like 10 of these or something, and it's always a lot of fun.
So much.
And I'm really glad that so many people are here today from all over the world. So I would say let's get started.
Definitely. Before we start, we'd like to share some house rules with you, though. Please keep yourself muted during this talk. If you're not sure how to do that, you will find the mute button in the bottom left corner of your screen. We'd also like to remind you to, if you want to use the chat, please do it respectfully. If you want, you can ask questions there and we'll try our best to answer. If we don't answer your questions within our part, then there will be a Q&A session afterwards as well. And if you want to share your feelings and emotions, use the reactions during the travel talk. You find them by clicking the button in the bottom middle of your screen.
Yeah, so I would say let's try this out now. Guys, get your emotion buttons ready. Are you guys looking forward to this travel talk tonight? Yay. Okay, looks like you guys are on fire. I really like that. So I would say let's get started. For the ones that are new with us, we'd like you to introduce you a bit more to JoinMyTrip, who we are, and actually also why we're putting on this travel talk. So have you ever been faced with the challenge of wanting to go on a specific trip and you were like super excited about going and you couldn't start to plan and whatever, but then you started asking around friends and family if they want to join, and all of them said, no, I don't have time, or I don't have money, or they didn't like the trip you had in mind. Yeah, and then in the end, you ended up not going at all. And we realized that a lot of people are facing this challenge, and this is why we created the platform JoinMyTrip.
And currently our community is 140,000 plus members strong and growing, representing the world's biggest community of trustworthy travelers.
And yeah, it's actually so cool to see how the community grow over the last years. Yeah, absolutely amazing. And every day, new faces. So Stella, you want to explain how JoinMyTrip works?
Of course. So JoinMyTrip basically means traveling with friends that you haven't met yet. We connect trip leaders and trip mates. Trip leaders on the one side are the ones organizing and planning the trip. They publish their travel plans on our platform, and interested trip mates can request to join the adventure. That means as a trip leader, you can actually earn money for traveling. Trip leaders and trip mates get to know each other so they can decide if they want to travel together at all. And on the trip, they share travel costs, experiences, and come home with new travel friends for life. So that obviously raises the question, like what's the connection to digital nomads? Anna, can you enlighten us there?
Of course. Yes. Basically, a digital nomad is someone who who doesn't really have a home and can work from anywhere in the world or anywhere in their own country. Usually, this is achieved through having some kind of digital job, which encompasses quite a variety of different careers, which we will talk about in a bit. And yeah, as a digital nomad, you can even set yourself a home base, like it's somewhere abroad, and take remote working trips to different locations, or to like never stuck in one place. And if this sounds amazing to you, working from the beach or any way you always wanted to work from, then yeah, we do have a lot of information ready for you guys tonight. And yeah, on everything you need to know about how to become one and how to have a good time.
Exactly. So basically anyone can become a digital nomad provided the right job. So the first option for your job would be to aim your profile towards careers that would be primarily like digitally based. Things like digital marketing, back-end development, e-commerce, etc. If you'd really like to make a career out of it, it would be best to push your studies towards those types of positions, or either look for just possibilities to brighten your horizon in that direction.
Yeah, for example, online courses or anything
Exactly.
like that. And the second option would be like freelancing. So there are so many ways you can freelance, from translating, transcribing, to journalism, to design work, and anything you can basically think of. And for most of the jobs, or for some of them, you actually don't need to have any specific studies or specific skills, especially for translating or transcribing. It's usually pretty simple and straightforward. Fiverr.com is actually a great website for this. You can check it out, all the different freelance work there, and then basically just apply for certain jobs. And this is usually the way how you can get started. And from there, usually you take one job and then you bump into the other one, and then you get the the stone rolling.
Nice. And finally, and probably the most challenging one, is working for yourself, actually. So lots of authors, tutors, content creators, and more are able to maintain a digital nomad lifestyle while essentially being their own boss. Or you start working with us. More about this later, though.
Yes.
So Anna, why don't you explain a little bit more on this entire co-working thing?
Sure. Yeah. So we mentioned that on JoinMyTrip you can find travel buddies for your next adventure. And maybe to explain a bit more about the background. Even before Corona, we at JoinMyTrip were able to work remotely for a certain period of time per year. So when I actually did my first remote work trip, and I just booked a flight to Lisbon, Portugal, I was like, okay, so now I'm here, but how am I going to share my costs? Like renting out an Airbnb on my own is quite expensive. And then also co-working spaces are quite expensive. So how am I going to do this? And I don't want to be alone. And I was like, wait, Anna, like I'm working for a platform where I could find travel buddies. So why do I not just find co-working buddies? And this is actually when the co-working trips were born. So yeah, after this, I did my first trip in September of finding a group of remote working buddies and sharing a really nice villa on the Algarve. And since then, I would say the remote travel bug had actually caught me.
Definitely. I can testify for that. I feel like you've been more abroad than in Germany, haven't you?
Yeah, I think that's actually maybe true.
But if it fits, it fits. So let's explain a little bit more to all of you what co-working is exactly. So how we define co-working. It's about sharing living and working spaces with other professionals while exploring the surroundings outside of working hours. So especially as a result of the pandemic, more and more people are effectively becoming digital nomads. Also in big corporate worlds, it's even more possible to work remotely. So why not go on a co-working trip? Because the beauty of co-working is really that it can be anywhere in the world. It's just limited to your limitations, I would say. And yeah, I mean, Lebanon, I think, Anna, you have some live insights, don't you?
Yes, actually right now I'm in Lebanon working remotely. And I also recently came back from a co-working trip in Seville. And here in Lebanon, we are basically sharing a really nice, living in a hotel and sharing a nice conference room and working together during the day and exploring this absolutely incredible country after work and also on the weekends. So yeah, if you guys want to have some more live insights, feel free to check out my Instagram account at Travel Buddy Anna, or just the Enjoy My Trip Instagram account. And you can have some more insight about how life and work is in Lebanon. And if you guys are interested, actually, my colleague Niels, our our founder, is offering another Lebanon co-working trip in September. So he's, will be hosting you guys in the beautiful city of Byblos, located 40 minutes drive from Beirut. And I can only tell you, it's a great place to be. So if you want to check out a bit more details, my colleague Miko will share the link about the trip in the chat, and you can check it out and maybe send a message to Niels if you're interested of learning more about it.
Definitely don't miss out on that one.
Yeah, Stella, I hope that you will also make your way to Lebanon soon. Otherwise, I will take you with me to wherever I'm going next.
All right.
So, Stella, why don't you give a quick overview about today's topics?
Sure. So we're going to talk about the benefits of co-working, as well as how to plan an actual co-working trip and how to find the perfect co-working buddies once you have your trip itinerary planned. And then we also want to highlight the best destinations for co-working, as well as some special tips. So Anna, why don't you start with the first topic?
Sure. So today's first I'm going to give you some arguments why you should go on a co-working trip, or why you should start working remotely. So especially I think after the past now already 1.5 years, after a lot of us went into home office and you're basically facing the same walls every day, like a change of scenery is always a good idea. And of course, especially for the travel lovers among you, being able to combine traveling with working is just super, super motivating. Imagine you get up in the morning and you just quickly have a 5-minute walk to the beach, you go and swim, and then you take your shower, you start working, or you go for a morning run among palm trees. You can only imagine how motivating that is.
And especially if you're staying in your home country and seeing pictures from people around you on a co-working trip. And the pictures get better every trip. So yeah, it's only a matter of time until I take my own pictures.
Then I keep telling you, you just need to join. So, I mean, it's obviously not only about the motivation, but especially also being surrounded by new coworkers that maybe working in the same area as you are, or even not, can just give you a new perspective and a boost in creativity and productivity, and also innovative thinking. You get inspired with so many new ideas that will definitely help to grow you as a person, but also especially after you probably stick with the same people kind of like in the past month, it's kind of like new to have some fresh new inspiration. I can only tell you from my experience that it's absolutely incredible every time meeting new people.
And I can testify again as a co-worker of a fellow person who's a co-working expert. You really see how they grow, and it's amazing, especially if you're also close friends, then it's even more nice to see.
So cute. Yeah, so but it's actually not only this, it's on top of this, it's also for me what is actually the most amazing thing about this whole co-working thing and working remotely is networking and skill sharing, right? Like imagine you're living in a house with like those like-minded people working remotely, like you just are having such a nice connection, and you can yeah, just network and get new connections, but also, and this is what I love most about it, share your skills, right? Each and every one of us is good at something, right? It can be cooking, can be a photographer, social media, Google Analytics, whatsoever, but sharing this knowledge among each other is so cool. And I learned so much on all my co-working trips. Started like with finances and stuff, and I was like, before I didn't have any clue about it, and now I'm like, okay, I gotta hang up with it a bit. So yeah, that's just super motivating.
Wow. And I mean, these are just some of the million benefits of co-working. I think that now that we've given an idea of the why, the next step would be maybe where to go. I think that could be a good thing. But before, we want to highlight a specific co-working trip on our community, because in this example, we can show you how to combine awesome kite surfing and co-working in Egypt. And that trip is put together by our trip leader, Dan, for this September. And during your work days, you will be situated at a beautiful villa with space to work and relax by the pool. And during your free time, you'll be joining your trip mates for some kite surfing adventures and cooking classes. So Miko is posting the link to that trip right now, and you can just join right away.
Yeah, that's actually so cool. This is what I also like about it, like basically going surfing or something after work, but you can usually just do that during your vacation, right? Just like combining it. And Dan seems like a real kite surfing expert from what I've seen. So if you guys are into kite surfing or learning it, feel free to check out the link. So yeah, that looks already amazing. And I think Egypt is a nice place to co-work from, but there are also a lot of other cool destinations. So now what we will do is basically presenting you some of the destinations that we know that a lot of people that from our community have already done successful co-working trips. Yeah, we'll just share a bit more information about each destination. So I would say let's get started, Stella.
Yes. So the first one, the first destination that we can recommend for co-working are the Canary Islands. They've got beautiful beaches, perfect conditions for sailing for a weekend trip, for example, but also kite and windsurfing and so many great hiking opportunities. And especially on the island of Gran Canaria and Tenerife, you have many co-working and co-living spaces. And of course, the most important thing, great weather conditions all year long, even in winter, sun in winter, amazing. And I think, Anna, you've been there quite recently, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I was there this spring, or actually, I think it was like March. So in Germany, it was raining like always and like super shitty weather. And I still remember actually that I talked to Stella one morning and she sent me a picture of her balcony where she had like snow. And I was like looking out of the window and I was like, oh, it's 30 degrees and sunshine. Sorry. So yeah, so Gran Canaria really is, especially like actually the whole Canary Islands are really perfect all year long. I think even in December, January, you have decent temperatures. So yeah, can only highly recommend. But talking about Spain, actually also the mainland in Spain offers perfect opportunities for co-working. As mentioned before, I recently spent some time in Seville, which is in my opinion the most beautiful city in the world, which is why I'm eager to get back as soon as possible because I just can't get enough of the city. So yeah, I thought I might want to inspire some more people how beautiful this city is. So this is why I'm currently planning a 2-week co-working trip in September. So yeah, I used to live there for 1 year and work as a tour guide. So I have some hidden gems and some cool spots and stories in store. So yeah, if you want to join me or just want to check it out, Miko will post the link in the chat so you can have a look and maybe let's work together from Spain. Let's see. Nice. So Stella, what's next? I think we're going to a different continent, right?
Yes, we are. So next up we have the USA. Endless destinations, of course, co-working hubs with great nightlife all over, sky is really the limit here when it comes to co-working in the US, especially now that it has fastly becoming one of the most COVID safe countries thanks to the vaccine rollout. So yeah, definitely on my radar as well.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, if you want to start planning soon, some of our US top co-working destinations include San Diego, LA, Lake Tahoe, and Miami, Florida. So yeah, there are, of course, US is big, so there are also some other places, but these are the spots where we know you can also find a lot of other remote workers. And I think also a lot of companies in the US already declared home office as being the one being extended actually. So yeah, but going back to Europe, Stella.
Yes, so we'll move a bit eastward. So next up we have Croatia, a land of gorgeous national parks, beaches, ancient ruins, and endless sailing opportunities, and also a great place to work remotely, actually. So Croatia has the benefit of having a so-called digital nomad visa, so you can work there for an entire year if you'd like, with no issue. The city of Split in particular is a great place to camp out, and definitely if you're into it, make sure to try the seafood. And Croatia is our community's favorite, I would say. Croatia always works for us, so I guess it will work for you as well. So but the next destination is the same, right, Anna? On to Madeira.
Yes, definitely. Actually, in January, I spent 3 weeks co-working on the beautiful island of Madeira, and also Madeira is great to visit all year long. So of course, it wasn't super hot in January, but still we had some sunny days. Madeira belongs to Portugal and is actually the first island that offers an official village for digital nomads. And it's really so diverse. Sometimes you think you're in New Zealand, then you think you're in Scotland, and sometimes actually in Australia or in Indonesia. So yeah, really hiking, surfing, whale watching, the number, like you can do anything on this island. And yeah, it's also really safe to travel there. And of course, the most important for any digital nomad is that the internet connection is just absolutely incredible in Portugal in general. So that's always really, really good.
Great. And where did you stay there?
I actually stayed with Fabian, one of our trip leaders. He actually is so in love with Madeira that he decided to rent a villa basically for a whole year. So I joined his home office trip in this villa, and actually he now has a little helper, Kiki, so they're doing it together. Nice. And both of them, they're absolutely Madeira experts, and the villa is absolutely incredible. Like really big rooms, you have your own desk, really quick Wi-Fi, good connection, you have your own home dog, Lotus. He's just so cute, he's waking you up in the morning. And yeah, it's just really nice, this place, and a great place to also like get started with this whole remote work thing, because yeah, you can also just go there for a week, which is nice if you want to just get a glimpse of this whole co-working thing.
Amazing. That sounds super incredible. And as you can see, he's got a trip online. And actually, we launched a giveaway on Instagram about a free spot on this particular trip, haven't we?
Yeah, actually yesterday. So Fabian is giving away one free spot on his in his co-living villa for a week in beginning of August. So if you are short on a short budget, or if you just want to try your luck, you just need to like the post, comment below, and follow both accounts. So it's quite quick. Yeah, if you want to try your luck, then feel free to check that out. So I think Stella would also be a nice place for you because you love hiking, right?
I know, I do. So maybe I'll try my luck as well. I don't know if a team member is allowed to win, but I guess I'll just
talk to your colleagues.
No, I won't take your space away. So we'll actually just chime in with one more trip highlight here. This co-working adventure will take you to Bodrum in Turkey, which is a just a beautiful city in Turkey. And in that apartment, you will have a beautiful beachside right from the window with Wi-Fi, kitchen, air conditioning, a huge terrace for sunbathing as well. And that only for 38 euros a night. And you can just check out Alina's trips this August. You will get the link right now. And Turkey, also a great place to start co-working, I would say. I think you got the link right now. And yeah, now that we have seen all these amazing destinations, I think it's time to show you how to plan a co-working trip.
Yes, and also, I think since I have already organized various of those co-working trips, I would like to give you some ideas on how to, how to plan everything and what to make sure to take into account, because planning a co-working trip is a bit different from just a normal trip. So basically, I mean, if you go to join my trip, all you need to do is click on that need a trip button and then select co-working trips. So you can make sure that people that are filtering for those trips can find your trip. And then it's actually pretty easy looking forward. You just need to add some stops to the description, add some pictures. And usually what I do is I create one spot just to say, okay, this is where my villa is located, and then I add a few more stops. Okay, these are possible things we can do on the weekend or after work, like spots where we can hike or swim or whatever. Most important there is just add amazing pictures, because pictures say more than thousands words. I think that's a German thing again. That's actually helps a lot to make your trip a bit more attractive. And then all you need to do is calculate the cost that will you need for every trip mate to join, and you can just use the cost calculator, which will make it a bit easier for you to do the math, and then the trip is ready.
Exactly. And then our team will review it, and once it's online, it's published on our website, and you will receive your very own trip link, which you then can share on your network. And then after that, interesting trip mates can request to join your adventure. You get to know each other in our built-in chat. And when you decide to travel together, you can officially accept the trip mates through the website. Everything's on the website.
Yeah, and that's actually one thing that I think is really important, especially when it comes to security, that the people actually, you accept the trip mates through the website, which means the payment also goes through the website, which makes it easier for you and also safer for everyone. We use Stripe. I think the ones watching from the US, you guys might know Stripe, one of the most famous payment providers. And that's also good, because this way you can make sure that the trip mates are committed, and it's not like somebody randomly messages you on Facebook telling you, I'm going to join, and then in the end they're not joining, and you're sitting there with the villa but no one is joining. By committing to join my trip, you can always make sure to have to have everything covered. The question in the chat: how much is the fee? It's 8%, and for the cancellation policy, thanks for the question, Frank. It's basically the cancellation policy of the place that you rent applies, right? So if you rent something where you can't cancel, then that means that as soon as somebody has booked, you can't cancel. But we can actually share the link to the cancellation policy in the chat. I'll quickly search for it and send it to you so you can have a look. And of course, we always, in case someone needs to cancel, then we always support the trip leader with the best we can in order to find a replacement for that person. Usually, always happens that we found someone. And a trip with minimum, can you create a trip with a minimum number of coworkers? Yes, you can. I actually once did a trip with one person, which was also a lot of fun. So you can, but I would always recommend to have a group of like my perfect size is 7, like 4 to 7, but it's up to you. So you can also just find one person, which can also be fun. Of course, then you really need to make sure that it's a good fit, because if you're stuck with that person for 2 weeks, then you don't have anywhere to escape from. My colleague is going to send you the cancellation policy. I'm gonna, and Stella and I will continue, because there's one other advantage of basically confirming officially through the JoinMyTrip, right, Stella?
Exactly. So speaking of security, we cover all of our travelers from Germany and Austria, and soon from all over the world, with our Allianz travel insurance, meaning it is free for you, either as a trip leader, as a trip mate. If you're from Germany or Austria, you have a free travel insurance. And especially in these special times, insurance is key when traveling.
Yeah, definitely. So I think some of you guys might have, I see in the chat already, a lot of questions. So we prepared some frequently asked questions, which we will now reply to you guys, and then you can still see if some of the questions are left over. We will reply to the remaining questions at the end of the webinar in our question section, because otherwise it will interrupt, I think, a bit too much. So first question, Stella.
Yeah, how long should the trip be?
Yeah, the trip should be, I would say ideal is 2 to 3 weeks. So because imagine you only go for 1 week, then you have only 1 weekend for the area, and that might be actually a bit stressful. So I always go for 4 weeks, but I would say 2 to 3 weeks is the perfect length, and then you can still decide if you want to extend or not.
And when do I start planning the trip?
I usually start planning 3 to 4 weeks before, just because, especially right now with the current situation, it's really hard to plan like ahead. So I would say 4 weeks is perfect, 3 weeks is doable, but yeah, 4 weeks is perfect.
How do I calculate the costs?
Yeah, you can, as we already said, you can always use our cost calculator. So basically what I usually do is I take the amount of money that I need to pay for the accommodation and divide it by the number of trip mates that I want to find for that trip. But then I always add a big buffer on top of it to just make sure in case I find not exact amount of people that I want to find, so that in the end I am not stuck with like too much money. And then sometimes what I usually do is, let's say if I take too much money from the people, when I'm in the destination, I tell them, okay, hey guys, I have some money left over, and you can, I will invite you for dinner, or I will pay them back, or I will pay the fuel for the car. So this way it basically evens out a bit.
It's all about communication. So when do I book the accommodation though?
I usually book the accommodation as soon as I have 50% of the trip mates confirmed. But it really depends on how flexible the cancellation policy of the accommodation is. If it's like a super flexible cancellation policy of the accommodation, you can of course already book when you know you're going to plan. But depending on that, I would decide if I decide a bit like more upfront or not, depending on that.
And how much is too much?
So I always say the maximum from what I've seen, but I might also be the people that are willing to pay more, but really 40 euros per night is like the maximum that I would say people are willing to pay. I usually calculate maximum 30 euros because I also need to pay, and I don't have a home anymore. So every night I go somewhere, I have to go. So for me, the maximum is really 30 euros per night. Yeah, people also pay 40. So it really depends also, of course, where you go, right? I mean, there are countries that are a bit more expensive, especially usually the islands tend to be a bit more expensive. But if you go, for example, to Poland or Slovenia or Albania, you might have a super amazing villa for like, let's say, I don't know, 50 euros per night or something. So it really depends on where you go.
Yeah. And do I, as a trip leader, also book the flight for everybody?
No. As a trip leader, you're not responsible for anyone's flights. You only are responsible for everything happening in the destination. So for you, it doesn't matter how someone has arrived. You tell them, okay, the trip starts Friday morning here, and then this is where the trip starts, and nothing else. Of course, you can help them, or if you have free flights that you want to give away to your trip mates, I mean, you can do it, but yeah, actually in general not.
So if you people have any more questions about creating trips on our platform or the platform itself, Miko just posted the link to our frequently asked questions in the chat.
Yeah, and if you're want to have even a bit more information about co-working, I recorded, I think, 20 episodes of the co-working show with covering any single topic that you can imagine about how to convince your boss, what to pack, what to take into account, how to get started. You can just check them out. There are also some episodes about different destinations. Yeah, just if you want to have a bit more information about co-working or remote working, or however you want to call it in general.
Nice. And there's also something else, isn't there?
Yes, so definitely. So actually on August 5th, we're gonna have a webinar about how to find the perfect travel buddies in general, and we will give a lot of more information also about the trip setting up and how you can really find the perfect travel buddies. It's really way more detailed than what we've given you now, because it would like explode the whole webinar. So if you have time on the 5th of August, feel free to check that out. And it's a lot of fun always, those webinars. We have found so many cool trip leaders in those webinars already, and I'm already looking forward to August 5th.
Nice. If you're not free on August 5th, you also have the option to check out a recording of a past travel talk on YouTube. But as you just heard, it's not as fun as being there live and having the option to ask all of your burning questions in the end. But yeah, if you don't have time, you can find it, the recording, under the link in the chat that you have right now.
Yeah, and if you still have the feeling you need a bit more assistance and you don't want to wait until August 5th, we also have like our personal trip creation consultation, where you can basically just book any a meeting, 15-minute meeting with any of our colleagues that will guide you and help you with any question that you have that we might not be able to answer tonight. So yeah, you will have the honor to meet one of the girls on the screen, and this can help you to basically get started. But so Stella, in general, like, let's say I have published my trip, Enjoy My Trip, and like I got all the tips and everything is set up. Like, how does Join My Trip as a platform support me when I have published the trip?
So once your trip is online, we will be there all the way. We promote your trip on our social media channels and our newsletters and wherever support when it comes to promoting you need. Our site is also SEO optimized so that a lot of interested travelers will find your trip on Google, actually. And yeah, as you also have seen previously in that webinar, also the trips will be featured in our webinars, depending on the destination, for example, or the trip type that you have created. Your trip can also be promoted on our website, and we have over 100,000 interested visitors every month, so it's definitely worth it. And Anna, last but not least,
yeah, the most important, as Stella already mentioned in the beginning, we are always here for you. So really, it doesn't matter what the problem is. If one of your trip mates backed out last minute and you want to try to find a replacement, by now, after 4 years, we know which buttons to push to find a replacement. And also, yeah, our support team is really just one click away. And something that we actually started in the past weeks, that each trip leader that published a trip on JoinMyTrip will have one co-trip leader of the JoinMyTrip team. So you will have a one-to-one support as soon as your trip is published, and the person will really be available day and night in order to support you whenever you need. Also, if you, in case you would publish a trip and you're getting sick, we will make sure that there's going to be a replacement trip leader to make sure that all the trips can be executed. So that's what we are actually doing to support our trip leaders. And of course, we also have some Join My Trip merch that we can send you.
Yes. So yeah, we're trying everything in our powers to help you travel with other people. So for anybody who's interested in working remotely, Anna, you've got something to share, right?
Yes, actually, that's my new baby. Really excited to share this. We currently are hiring, and we are hiring basically new digital nomads. So we have a job that's called the job of a lifetime, where you can actually earn money while living in the most beautiful place in the world, by organizing trips for our community, by taking part in different projects with our Join My Trip team, learning a lot about online marketing, getting new skills and working in an international team. And this is, for all this you will get paid, and you can actually earn up to 2,000 euros a month. So if you guys are currently looking for a new job, or your first job, or summer job, or anything, we are also can also be for a shorter period of time. Just feel free to send us your CV, and then you might make it to the next round and have an interview with me. Miko will share the link to our job description in the chat now, so you can just check it out. And maybe I see some of your applications tomorrow morning or tonight. That's actually really looking forward. We already have so many applications, so I think I have to stop this at one point, but I'm really looking forward to seeing all the CVs and to have new trip leader on board.
Amazing. And our trip leader, Tanya, is actually a great example of how you can be successfully organizing travelers with JoinMyTrip. And here's what she had to say when asked about her experience as a trip leader. She's actually still searching for some cool trip mates for her Mexico trip. And Miko is sharing the link in the chat right now. So also Mexico, a very cool place to co-work, and Tanya is super experienced. So
yeah, I think Tanya, actually I've lived with Tanya in Mexico, and organizing trips in Mexico now gives her the opportunity to finance her life there, which is amazing to see. And I'm a bit jealous, although I can't complain right now, but seeing her like in my beloved Mexico kind of like makes me want to go there again.
Amazing.
Let's see. So
yeah,
Stella, we have
how about some last tips?
Yeah, sure. So we do have some super last tips that I think are things I would have liked to know before going on my first co-working trip, because yeah, that was kind of like a bit special. So let's get started. So the first tip is definitely when you plan your trip, the most important is that you set the right expectations. So in your trip description, when you're on the phone with potential co-workers, really tell them what you're expecting from that trip and what you're also expecting from your co-workers. Just a quick example, like make sure that they don't think that you're like cook and the cleaning lady and the driver. I think I'm the worst cook, the worst cleaning lady, and the worst driver as a trip leader. So I can make sure that everybody's fine. Okay, cook I could do, but the other stuff not. So just make sure that the expectations are set right, so that nobody's going with the wrong expectations.
Yeah. You're right. That's so important. Another tip would be to ask for discounts. Check if you can get discounts when booking your accommodation, for example, especially for longer stays and bigger groups. Many landlords or hosts are willing to give you some money off the booking price. At the moment, it's also super easy to negotiate and you can get really good deals. For other discounts for renting a car, for example, or cool outdoor travel accessories, you can also check out our partnership page in your JoinMyTrip profile. We do have a lot of discounts for you.
Yeah, for this, you just need to be logged in and then click on the partner offers. I think bargaining for discounts is definitely my specialty.
Which is really good as partnership manager in a company. I can tell you, we've got great discounts. And besides this, it might also be a good idea to make sure to get in touch with the local community, so you don't feel boxed in. For example, there are a lot of WhatsApp groups, even Facebook groups, meetup groups. I mean, a lot of you probably heard about us through meetup, so you know what we're talking about. And the next thing is super important, because you have to make sure that you have a good working environment. It's different if you rent a villa for a week's vacation with a few friends, or if you really want to live and work from there for a few weeks and have an amazing time. So make sure you have enough space, enough tables, room to escape for important meetings and calls, or also just for a short break where you don't want to be disturbed at all. And most importantly, make sure your Wi-Fi is good and accessible at your location. So there, my tip would be to ask the host to send you a screen capture of the internet speed. And yeah, if you need a backup of that, get a portable Wi-Fi router and buy a local SIM card. I think Anna did that as well for Lebanon right now. So yeah, what other things should they pack, Anna?
So I think the one thing that I would never travel without is definitely, of course, besides your laptop, it's like my little Wi-Fi router. I don't have it with me right now because I use my phone, but it's basically a thing that you can buy on Amazon for like 60 euros or something, and you can put in like a local SIM card, and then it's basically, you can just log in as a hotspot from your phone. Of course, you can also use your phone. That's also usually working. I just prefer the Wi-Fi router. And the good thing is that, especially when you're from Germany, it's kind of nice to buy some gigabytes for little amount of money, because I think in Lebanon here, I paid for 100 gigabytes, 10 euros or 12 or something, which is in Germany, I pay 12 euros for 1 gigabyte or something, which is absolutely crazy. So that's always good. But besides this, also, I would never travel without my second screen. I have like a really thin and light second screen that works with the electricity USB slot thingy, was quite expensive, but I use it. It's like was worth it all the money. And also, of course, noise canceling headphones are the absolute thing you need when going on a co-working trip, just to make sure that you can focus. And yeah, actually, I also have a YouTube show about all the remote co-working essentials. Nice. That you can just check out. We shared the link earlier. And I think really, last but not least, the most important is what we already talked about in the beginning. Make sure your tripmates are committed by accepting them through the platform. So this way you really make sure that nobody backs out and that you can cover all your costs, and that also you have the full support of the JoinMyTrip team in case something happens. Because if you going on a co-working trip and officially no one is traveling through the website, we can't give you any support. So this is why, yeah, just make sure to always confirm anyone to the website, and this way you can make sure.
And yeah, I mean, these are just a few tips. And if you want to learn even more special tips, you already know about Anna's show. So go to YouTube, check out her show. There's like tons of content waiting for you and ready to be digested.
Definitely. So I would say, yeah, last but not least, guys, what are you waiting for? I can only recommend you, if you're on home office, go there and try it. Now you have everything you need, special tips and tricks. You have a platform to find coworkers. You have co-working experts that you can get in touch with. And really, I can tell you as an advice from my heart, it changed my life. It might sound a bit cheesy right now, but I really mean it. If I look back on my life before September last year, I could never imagine to go back. And yeah, so it's just an amazing opportunity to learn the world, to travel, to go out there, to get to know new people, to broaden your horizon, and to combine traveling with working. So yeah, I would say before we start with our question round, I think that everybody's waiting for, and we still have some questions pending in the chat. Stella, there are two things that we need to share with our community.
Exactly. So the first thing is that feedback is super important for us, because this way we can get an idea of how we can keep improving our travel talks for you in the future. And we prepared a very, very short feedback form, and you could help us tremendously if you filled that out and just took 1 minute. It's really that short. We'll post the link in the chat right now, and everybody who fills out the form will receive these slides afterwards. And not only that, among all the people who gave feedback, you'll have the chance to win a voucher for 20 euros or $24 off of your next booking with JoinMyTrip. And I think that is a really good deal for just 1 minute.
Yes, and I would say for 1 minute work, that's actually quite easy. And last but not least, I hope that we hope that you liked our little travel talk. And that's not the only travel talk that we host. We already introduced our Travel Buddies travel talk on August 5th, but we also have actually tomorrow for everyone interested in Iceland. We are hosting an Iceland travel inspiration travel talk. One of our colleagues actually was there 11 times or something. Yeah. So she's really an absolute Iceland expert, and she has so many cool tips and tricks. So now, I mean, I have a lot of places on my bucket list, but Iceland is definitely one of the top ones.
Same.
And also next week, we're having our travel fails event where we just talk about some funny travel fails. And yeah, also your favorite event, I think, besides this one, is the Travel Hacks webinar, where we share super cool travel hacks that will change your traveling life. So yeah, you can just check out the link in the chat if you want to sign up already for some of them. And yeah, I would say, Stella, time to open the stage for all the questions.